up, guys? Flaming Geek here. Oh my gosh. Bright. I know you've been waiting for it. Bright. What are my thoughts on Bright? Yeah, that came out back in December, that Will Smith movie. So in this video, we're gonna talk about the Bright sequel. There's gonna be a sequel? Huh? Nani? What? Qua? As always, guys, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Let's get to it. On December 13th, 2017, the $90 million movie Bright was released on Netflix. And it wasn't well received by critics, but viewers were okay. And some people liked the film. So what did I think about this movie? Because I know you want to know. I thought this movie was... I wrote some notes on this. Basically what it says. Okay movie. No Max Landis. Yeah, this movie was okay. Do I agree with critics saying it was a horrible movie and probably the worst movie of 2017? No. No, it wasn't. If anything, the Emoji Movie was the worst movie of 2017. There were lots of really bad movies that came out last year. Was this movie awful? No. It was okay. First of all, about Bright, I thought it was an okay movie. This is probably the first movie in a long time where Will Smith wasn't charismatic at all. Like, usually Will Smith will bring his charisma into a movie and you will feel for him and you will get into it. I didn't care for Will Smith. What is Bright? So Bright is a movie about essentially like The Lord of the Rings. Ha ha ha. You have Will Smith, and I don't even remember the characters' names, okay? So you have Will Smith playing this cop in the LAPD, and you've got his partner played by Joel Edgerton, who is the only orc cop on the force, and he's paired up with Will Smith. The movie centers around the fact that Will Smith was shot by an orc, just recently recovered, and he's back to work with his partner. This movie centers around Fairy Lives Matter? Fairy Lives Matter? Essentially this wand that these dark elves are trying to use to bring back the evil elf. This dark elf, she's trying to bring back the evil. It's in a universe that is actually quite intriguing. This movie should have been a sequel to the previous film, one before, because the entire duration of this film, I was thinking, man, it would have been great to have a Bright 1 before this one. This movie is smack dab in the middle of this conflict. You're introduced to an interesting world where fairy tale creatures live amongst humanity. You're in a world where you've got orcs that are kind of at the bottom of society and frowned upon because they sided with like the dark elf thousands of years ago. Humans whose descendants fought against him, and elves. And you've got elves who are like the rich of society who live in their own like elf town elsewhere. I wanted to see Elf Town. You just see elves there. I'm like, what? Why are they above everyone else? How do they get to this point? Oh, because they defeated the Dark One. But I want to see about these elves. You've got little fairies, you've got centaurs. The makeup job in this movie was pretty great, but the characters were meh. Yeah, meh. That's the best way to put it. Meh. Usually I side with the villains in films. Like, for me, what draws me in is a good villain, and even for this, Noomi Rapace was playing Layla, the main antagonist of the film, and they wasted her. She's mostly just standing there being like, having that look of rage and being like, I'm going to kill you. And like when these elves were fighting each other, they were so fast and powerful. It was amazing. Like, I wanted to see more prior to this movie. So we're getting a sequel, and it's obviously going to be coming after this one, because the way how the movie ends, which it can't really decide where to end, there's like 3 random endings, and I won't talk about that. Just go see this movie. It's weird. You've got like corruption in the cops force. So basically what was happening, the LAPD back in like the 70s and 80s with African Americans, like cops beating up orcs. Like, it was a weird movie. The biggest issue I had was with the writing. Usually I like Max Landis' writing. I love Dirk Gently. I loved Chronicle. And as a person, Max Landis is very interesting. He's very outspoken. He swears a lot, and it really comes across in this movie that he wrote it because there were so many scenes where literally people are swearing and I'm just like, it wasn't really necessary for the script. I don't know, you know when there's random swearing that's not necessary? That's what this movie was. David Ayer directs this film, and a lot of people were saying after Suicide Squads that, oh yeah, it was the studio getting too involved in Suicide Squads. They had so many reshoots. But seeing this movie made me think that no, I think part of it was David Ayer. I like David Ayer. He's an interesting director. He's got a unique style, and his style definitely comes across in this film. But it literally, right from the get-go, you're like, oh my gosh, it feels kind of like Suicide Squad. It really made me question David Ayer, and I don't think he should be directing a sequel, personally. You guys let me know in the comments below if you think that he should be directing the sequel. Because as it stands, a couple of days ago, Netflix announced that there will be a sequel for Bright, which I'm actually excited to see a sequel, because the way how this movie ends, there's like, I felt no satisfaction. So I just want to see like the consequences for this film on the sequel. Maybe the sequel will be better, and then when you go back and you watch the first Bright film, it might just blow your mind. Oh my gosh, could you imagine? That would be fucking awesome. Okay, so you guys let me know what you thought of Bright. Like, I'm just trying to think, like I had no sympathy for any of the human characters in this. None. The orcs were interesting, but like other than that, like this movie was weird. And there's this one line where like Elf Cop, we'll just call him Elf Cop, Candomir, played by Edgar Ramirez, he says this line and it's so bad. Elf Cop and his buddy are interviewing this human and he says this line and it's so bad. If you act like my enemy, then you become my enemy. And I'll show you guys the clip. The tension that's being built up to this line, and you think it's gonna be like this badass line that's gonna be like earth shattering. And then he says it, Elf Cop says the line, and you're like, why? What?
Shield of light will stop you. I'm done. We're done.
If you act like my enemy, you become my enemy.
Wait, one more time.
Shield of light will stop you. I'm done. We're done.
If you act like my enemy, you become my enemy.
If you act like my enemy, then you become my enemy. If you act like my enemy, then you become my enemy. No shit, buddy. No shit. It's literally my favorite moment in the movie. I've gone back and watched that line so many times. Because I remember when I watched it the first time, I was literally like, oh my gosh, what is he gonna say? And then he says it and you're just like, did he actually say that? Like, there's so many interesting moments in this movie. Like, the fight scenes I think were pretty awesome. Especially involving like those inferior or whatever, those dark elves. That was pretty epic. I loved every moment those guys were just tearing apart everyone. There are some really interesting characters. I'm just calling him King Orc. I'm sorry guys, literally. I'm not gonna go use whatever their names were if like you don't care very much for the characters. But the main lead orc, he was actually a very compelling character. But there's so many things that were like unnecessary. Like,
I'm not saying it would have changed anything, but shit, it might have.
I'm not saying it would have changed anything, but shit, it might have.
I have so many questions about it. Why are these dark elves so powerful? They can tear through cops and gangs and such, but like, and SWAT team members, but they can't even take down 2 cops? I don't understand that. Why? The prophecy is kind of weird, but the lore behind this movie, the setting behind the movie is very good and warrants exploration. Anyways, guys, I'm on the fence on a Bright sequel. On one hand, I want to see this dark elf or Dark Lord come up and get a hold of those 3 wands, and I want to see the conflict. I want to see more gore. But I want to see character development. I want to see Will Smith actually develop a personality. I want to see Orc Cop develop a personality. I want everyone to develop personalities. That would be really helpful. Can we have that in the sequel? That'd be really great. Don't get me wrong, I will watch the sequel, and there's hardcore fans of this movie already. And it builds an amazing foundation for a really neat concept that I would be down to watch. But until there's better writing, better characterization, better ending, I'm on the fence about this movie. But needless to say, I will go watch the sequel. Am I going to rewatch the first Bright movie? No, probably not. If the sequel is great, then I might go back and rewatch this. What do you guys think? Do you think that there should be a Bright sequel? Do you think that David Ayer should direct the sequel? What do you think about this? Or do you just not care? Do you not care, not give a shit like some people? Anyways, you guys be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. And as always, live long and prosper. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you like this video, go check out my last one. You can also follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and Snapchat. Live long and prosper.